Welcome to the Surplus Boys channel.
Startorsia, tovaryshi, dobro, požalovit v Surplus Boys channel. And obviously today, we're dressed a little funny.
A little bit different today.
Well, a little bit different today.
Don't mind the facial hair and the hair appearance.
Yeah.
This does change.
Yeah, he's a little off. I'm also partially off. I'm not supposed to have a mustache.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like shaving that.
And I didn't feel like cutting my hair for just a video.
Yeah, so welcome. We obviously have a myriad of surplus, actually.
And we're dressed differently.
Yeah, surplus stuff that is what most people would think of surplus as equipment. Not
This
just
is the
guns.
good surplus. Not the nylon 1980s stuff.
Yeah, none of that newer age stuff. This is all old canvas, leather. Well, I mean, I have some leather. He has pretty much all canvas.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much, except for your chin strap.
Unless I had my holster.
But yeah. So me and Patrick, we do reenacting.
Specifically World War II.
Yeah, specifically World War II. Patrick does.
World War II U.S. Hopefully going to get into World War I U.S. at some point.
Yeah, and then I do Soviet World War II reenacting. And so we're going to have a bit of...
There's a couple months coming up where videos might be a little sparse.
Yeah, they're going to be, I don't know if sparse, but we're going to intermingle small videos here and there of the reenacting stuff, equipment, small things like that. And it's not going to be both of us at the same time. You're going to get a lot of small videos of just me
or shorts
just
or
Patrick,
whatever.
Shorts, things like that. Because right around this time of the season, me and Patrick usually have to get our equipment ready in ways and acquire more stuff for our reenacting.
It's that time of year.
So you're going to see a bit more of that instead of just...
There will be some new acquisition videos, and it'll be, stuff I'm acquiring. I have a package coming this week. We can film. I can do a short on that, and we'll bring you along in our experiences. There will be separate videos on both of our kit at some point.
Yeah.
Today is not that.
Kit and how I guess examples are how to put the kit together. I know
how to pack the 1928 haversack.
Yeah, that haversack. The Russian pack and how to properly set up the cartridge belt that they would have had.
Yep. So there will be videos along those lines. There will also be videos on the full kit that we have. He does early war Russian. You're probably going to have to get a late war Russian set up together. I do World War II from 1941 to 45. And I do Pacific and European theater. So I have gear for both, as I'm wearing. And this is not Pacific theater. This is what a soldier would be wearing in Normandy. HBT jacket with their wool shirt underneath. Or just full wool uniform. But I wasn't putting on a full wool uniform today, so sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much the concept of what it's kind of like an introduction, I guess.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll talk about what we do. He'll talk about what he does, what I do. On top of us just giving a basic overview of our kits, we will also give you websites and helpful places in the description because we can actually leave those.
Yeah, we can leave those links.
To get equipment if you want to do this yourself. U.S. stuff is easy to find. Russian stuff it's easy, but it's hard.
It's a bit more difficult.
You're waiting and shipping.
Yeah, you got to order from overseas a lot. Some of them come from places where there is
a war going on?
Yeah, war going on and some sanctions the U.S. has put against said countries. Not coming from Russia, actually, mostly coming from Belarus, places like that. So when you order these things from those places, they come into U.S. Customs, and they sit there for a long time.
You had one sit there for like 2 months?
Yes, I had. I don't even think any of this kit was a part of that. I have other stuff that took forever to show up. So that's the one thing with the Russian stuff, if you want to get into that. Just remember you're going to be waiting.
Especially if you're like panic buying for an event coming up soon.
Yeah, it's always...
If you're 3 months out and you're panic buying for an event, you're not getting it.
Yeah, it's going to take a very long time. Really depends what time of year and also just depends on what they're doing. There's a couple of sources. Some very small things, very tiny things are hard to get also as well. Like the little tiny nuances, personal kind of items, very difficult. I don't have actually any of the small things that are hard to get here. I mean, this is a cook pot. This was hard to get because nobody really has these. You have to look on eBay for them. And they usually come from like Ukraine.
Is that an original?
Yes, this is actually, unfortunately, this is post-war, but this is like right after World War II. Huh. So it fits the bill. It's in the same spectrum.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
For that, it works for him. For me, post-war stuff usually doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the same thing, but a different color.
I guess that's one thing we can kind of touch upon too is if you're getting into reenacting,
what to buy and not to buy.
Oh, no, necessarily what to expect from the units.
Yes.
Because that will have a big influence on what you buy and how you buy, and at the frequency and how far you have to dig. So I'll let Patrick go first because we've both experienced each other's I guess areas or fields with other people and stuff like that. And I noticed at least one time that definitely dealing with, not to be mean to y'all, some U.S. reenactors are very, very, very picky and very, very, not to say snobby, but I'm sorry, you guys are.
No,
a little bit.
To touch upon what he's going on to, I'm not going to mention any units or where this was, but 2 years ago, I was looking to join a new unit. I've been in one before, just got out of it, didn't want to really do anything with it. Also didn't have the time for it. Now I have the time again. And like I said, I'm not going to mention what the unit was or anything.
Sorry, when you said unit, all I thought was it Tropic Thunder?
You suck my unit.
Suck my unit.
I couldn't stop laughing.
No, U.S. reenactors are very, they can be like that.
It seems like a weird hierarchy thing, but I guess that's with most reenactment groups. It's just, at least from my experience with the Russian guys, they're not. It's not like that. It's very, very laid back.
And even the unit that I'm part of now, they're very laid back. I sat and talked to their CO for 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very laid back. Yeah. It depends on who's running it, really.
Exactly. So like, I guess this can go into the point of the units that we are a part of. I'm part of the 28th Infantry, which is based out of PA, and you are?
I'm part of the 193rd Rifle, which is also based out of PA.
Yep.
Shout out to you, Rob, if you're actually watching this video. I don't think you will be, but who knows? But yeah, so I guess with that, and then I noticed with the Russian guys, there is a couple other units. They're much more scarce to find, so it's a little harder to find people that do this stuff. But I noticed they're much more laid back because I think there's much more of an understanding of it's hard to get this stuff, and it's all right if it's incomplete or if you have some misnomers because this isn't Russia. This isn't.
That's where the U.S. stuff gets very picky.
Yeah, it's like, listen, we know you have to order stuff from overseas. We know you have to do this. You know, have to do that. So there's much more lenience. I think there's still things here and there that people will rag on you about. But
you get the same thing in this.
But that's with every reenacting thing. But it just seems it's way more laid back in the Russian community than it is with the U.S. reenacting community.
Well, I also
that's
think
what I've noticed.
I also think the U.S. reenacting community feels like they have to hold themselves to a higher standard.
Very high standard, and I guess that makes sense.
And it does because you're trying to portray these people who fought for our freedom.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and it doesn't help that you're trying to portray it in the country that did it. I don't want to say you get like an excuse, but you not being in Russia, I guess it's easier, I guess.
Yeah, because, not a lot of people know.
Exactly.
There's a lot of nuances to the Soviet side that a lot of Americans don't understand. So we can, in the Soviet part, we can kind of get away with being a little inaccurate here and there, but that's not the point of the thing, of being a part of the Soviet thing. It's to kind of educate people.
But you get these events that are just living history events, and you're just there for 2 days talking about what you did. Or like, I'll use an example of the big first event we have this year, which is the Reading Air Show. Kind of gives you an idea where we live.
Yeah, show up.
Yeah, go there. It's cool. It's worth it.
If you're from around here.
Yeah, totally worth it. But just to go over like stuff where we get our stuff from.
Oh yeah, I guess do the U.S. thing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of sources for U.S. stuff.
Yeah, first I'll start out with like the rifle. So this is obviously
go to a gun show.
This is obviously an M1 Garand. M1, it's got the right sights and everything. The only thing it really doesn't have is got the stamp trigger guard, but you get the rifle looking as close as you can. I will eventually put a milled trigger guard on this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Patrick, you're constantly cutting out.
Is it my battery?
I have no fucking clue.
I'm so fucking done.
Tidbit, I'm going to put this in the video because I have the power of editing. I could sit there for hours and fuck with the stupid shit anyway. So, if you're ever going to use editing equipment and you get something that's called a Samson something or whatever it's called,
mobile mic or whatever.
What is it called? Let's educate ourselves, huh? So, Samson, Go Mic Mobile. All right, you try to put 2 microphones going in at once. They're going to keep cutting out because I don't understand. It's just garbage.
This
Very
was working.
expensive garbage. I hate them.
These were working perfectly fine when we first got them.
Yeah, so that's just a little
Side
tidbit.
point.
I'm going to put that in there. Let's go back to that thing at hand.
So you can get an M1, shop around, get it for the best price you can. So equipment. This is where we run into the first problem. I have nothing on here from at the front. Everything on this kit is original except for the shovel. So you can get a cartridge belt. There's a company called At the Front. They're really good. They make a lot of their stuff here in the States, in Kentucky. At the Front, What Price Glory, World War II impressions. Try to stay away from the cheap websites because cheap web gear looks cheap. And
there's definitely a difference when you buy from different.
When you buy quality and not qualities, because this HBT jacket and this M37 wool shirt are both At the Front, and like this is a quality jacket. You know, you pay it's like $60 for these jackets, but I've had like 5 of these and I love them. So they last well. And basically everything uniform related I buy from At the Front. I just think it's the best way to go personally. Or if you can buy originals, I just wouldn't use originals for field work. If it's just a living history event.
Also, and I'm going to cut in a side note. I obviously notice Patrick is larger than I am. So with reproductions, most things from originally that time, people weren't really that big. They were shorter than we are nowadays, and people were slimmer back then. So that's one thing. You need to get there's specialty sizes. So that is one thing too. From At the Front.
That is one thing that At the Front, World War II impressions, all these websites do, because unfortunately, most Americans are fat. I'd say it. I'm one of them. I'm fat. I need to lose weight. But that's beside the point. But all these websites make good reproductions. Like I said, try to stay away from the cheap stuff, but also do your research, because the other thing you need to know is figure out what unit you're going to do, or figure out a unit you're going to join, and figure out what's the basic set of equipment they need. Most of these units will have a list of basic sets of equipment that you need. Yeah. And it'll be the most basic set of equipment. For the 28th, we get away with World War I stuff because we're a National Guard. We were a National Guard unit. So like this is a World War I cartridge belt. Yeah. There is not out of the realm of possibility that you would have this cartridge belt in World War II.
It's very tiny nuance.
I have seen photos of it. You'd have World War I canteens. You'd have a bunch of stuff. But either way, At the Front makes this stuff. The other thing that you find on At the Front, which I will just put a little disclaimer in there, is they have British-made stuff. So the British made a bunch of our gear during World War II because it was easier to ship it from England to Europe than from America to Europe. So British-made stuff works great if you're in the European theater post D-Day. Don't use it if you're in the Pacific, because
doesn't make sense.
Didn't have it. But At the Front sells good reproductions, and they also sell good reproductions of like shovels. Even though I bought this shovel on Amazon, actually.
That's one thing too. Amazon, sometimes you find some good stuff.
Yeah. So like this shovel
out of nowhere.
this shovel. This is a This is a World War I shovel. This is a 1910.
We had no real
rhyme or reason for this.
Rhyme or reason to how we were going to do this video, and now we're letting it run, and sorry if it's going to be too long.
Yeah. So like you can get decent reproductions of stuff off Amazon. You can be surprised. This shovel came off of Amazon. It's actually a very good reproduction of a 1910 entrenching tool. I would feel comfortable using this to dig a foxhole. You know? But in US stuff, you have 2 shovels. You have this or the folding 1943 shovel. Yep. I use this because we do mid-war stuff, and as a National Guard unit, you'd have this.
Yeah. You also gotta watch out for just dates and year ranges. There's a lot of information out there.
Exactly. We're not the only people.
When things were used.
But yeah, so you get into that. Those are the websites that you can buy US gear from.
There's probably a bunch more too.
There is. You can use originals. You know, you can use original canteen covers if you want. You can use original Carlisle first aid pouches like this. Hell, you could use. Come on. Original bandages. You know. You can use the original bayonet. This is an original bayonet scabbard, but not the bayonet. So you can mix originals and reproductions, and they generally look good.
Yeah. And then, one thing as well, before I guess I add the Russian portion, is when it comes to getting kit, there's usually an outline.
Yeah, most units have an outline of what you need.
Yes, an outline of what to get first. So
Yeah, and that's the basic equipment.
that's pretty understandable. You usually get the uniform, so that's the top and the bottom, and then you get the boots.
In the case of the U.S. stuff, the leggings, or you get the
leggings
putties.
or the it depends on what they had. The helmet, if you or the
Oh
hat.
yeah, that's the other thing you talk about real quick. By the way, this thing's an echo chamber trying to talk. Helmets at the front sells reproduction helmets. World War II Impression doesn't sell helmets. You can buy an original shell. This is an original World War II helmet with post-war chin straps that I got to change. But J. Murray, 1944, he does them. They're expensive, but it's what you're gonna do. If you do early war stuff, you need a fixed bale helmet. That's what the helmet I've been restoring in a series of videos.
It still hasn't finished yet.
Oh, shut up.
Well, by the time we're filming this, it's not done.
Yeah, it's probably be done. Like I said, appearances are not what I normally look like for this. But helmets for U.S. stuff is easy to get.
Yeah, what else? Usually the cartridge belt and
usually any
firearm.
unit you're going to start in, you're going to be a private anyway, so you need a cartridge belt.
Yeah, you need a cartridge and that. That's like and the rifle, and that's the basics.
And
so
this
far.
piece of crap.
And then from there, once you get like at least the dress going, then you start to get into more. Then you need the haversack or kit or rucksack or whatever.
Yeah, and then you can also add your
Canteen-
touch to it, like
the canteen, other things like that, and it goes on to other stuff.
And you can add like your touch to it, like okay, you want to carry 2 canteens because it's
Pacific.
Pacific theater, or even in World War II, no duh, even in Europe, GIs would carry 2 canteens, But that's what the point of looking at historical photos is.
Yeah.
If there's a photo of it, or it can be done, there's a chance it probably was done.
Yeah.
Soldiers are soldiers.
Yeah.
They will do anything.
Yeah. In the middle of all that, little added this, little added that to make your life technically easier.
Exactly. So
then, I guess for the Russian stuff, the getting equipment for Russian stuff is a little different. There are some very small vendors, very small guys that do make stuff here. I've never used them. They're kind of, you need to kind of
Dude, look how fast his feet are moving. Oh.
know them. You need to know the people that do know them to be able to get stuff from them. So that's a bit of a snake way to get in there, to get to that stuff. More publicly open places where you can get things for Russian equipment. The main place I usually get most, especially the uniform and stuff like that, is Schuster's. .ru. They're based out of Belarus, and then but the thing is with that, it takes a very long time to ship over, and the payment process is a little weird. There's another guy, Voin. He's out of Ukraine. I've never actually used him before. Apparently he's very good. You don't get as much sanctions because it's coming from Ukraine. And then from there, there's a lot of other small guys. There's places in the UK. Epic Military has some stuff.
you can get U.S. stuff from them too.
Epsenlaub, which I think is in Germany.
That sounds German.
They have some weird little nuanced things here and there. Hickey Shop, which is one maybe people might know, they're out of China. Their quality differs. It depends on what you're getting. But they do ship things way quicker than Schuster's does. You cut out again.
Side note, real quick. Epic Military can be used for for American World War II also.
Yeah.
I've never bought anything from them, but that shovel cover's from them, right?
Yes, the shovel cover is from them, and I don't have it here. I have my Soviet ID book from them as well.
It's nice quality.
It's pretty good quality. I don't know where they get it from. They might be getting it from the tailors over in Schuster's or in Belarus, or in Ukraine, and just kind of being the middleman. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but that's not bad quality
because
for what it
this
is.
kind of fits what like Schuster's quality is, and they're pretty good. This pack, this rucksack, this is a Obrez, not Obrez, but Obrez. I forget how to say it. 39 or M38, M39 rucksack. That's actually from Hickey Shop, and it's pretty good quality, I must say. Especially since that was the only place you could find those for a time. But and then same thing with the small stuff for Russian things. Same outline. Get the kit, the uniform first, and whatnot. Get the the cartridge pouches and stuff like that. You'll find one thing: Kurza ones. Do not use Kurza ones. Don't. if you're gonna do post-war,
Those are the
cool.
ones you usually get with the Nagant when you buy them.
you use the Curzon ones. You'll tell the difference. You'll know the difference. You need leather ones. That is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You need the leather ones. Other things like the helmets. There's a couple different helmets they had. The SSH-39, that's a little harder to get. The SSH-40 is pretty easy to get. Most people have those.
You can get a cheap reproduction of an SSH-39.
Yeah, well, no, this is 36.
Oh, 36.
So this is the SSH-36, this is pre-war. These are easy to get, but this is a reproduction. Patrick, you cut out again. So this is easy to get, but it's a reproduction, just to have that in mind.
And it's kind of not a good reproduction.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
but
large.
other things, some things are a little very nuanced. You got to dig.
Yeah.
You got to dig Etsy and eBay
Yep.
or places.
Same thing for U.S.
This
stuff.
I think this came from Etsy, actually. This came from Etsy.
It's the same thing for U.S. stuff. Shall I say nickel and dime stage of my reenacting?
Yeah, it's tiny little things.
Because you need your personal items, you need your ID, you need your rations, you need toothbrush, shaving kit, all that stuff.
Yeah, all the
There's a
small
bunch
stuff.
of places on Etsy that are just World War II shops, and all they do is make this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and all they do is make U.S. rations or make U.S. personal items, or they make British, German, Russian, whatever personal items.
Yeah, you'll find these small, and sometimes you'll find things that are from those other countries, and it's going to take a while for them to ship, but they're actually original items. I do not recommend getting an original Russian toothbrush. That's disgusting. So things like that,
plastic
small stuff
ones.
like that, that's nickel and dime that you can get throughout the whole
And it is
process.
stuff you will need at some point. It's
yeah.
not like you don't need it, you will need it.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be a part of a unit and you're going to be someplace for a few days.
Exactly. You are obligated to brush your teeth, keep
yourself
cleanly shaven, and to keep yourself presentable.
Yeah, can't be Mr. Disheveled over here with his beard.
Yeah, it can't be.
And how I normally look with my beard.
Yeah.
So you gotta be relatively
You know.
clean looking. That's one thing that
the
everybody in pretty much every
the
army
hair
had to do.
can't be this long. It can be. It doesn't have to be shaven, but it can't be this long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also depends on the country too.
Exactly. It also depends on what you're trying to portray. If
You
if
can-
you're
you
in the
can be-
battle, if you're trying to portray the Battle of the Bulge, a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow, probably okay.
Yeah, you're all right.
You know.
Battle of Stalingrad, it's okay to see somebody look like a complete pile of crap.
Exactly. But when you're
for
in a
that.
living history event,
Usually you try to be as clean as possible.
because you're usually portraying somebody billeted in an area.
Yeah.
So
And then
you need all that basic stuff, especially if you're getting into this hobby and you're like 18. Hopefully you're somebody who didn't grow facial hair at 18, because then it's easy.
yeah, you don't got to shave. And one thing that is a stipulation I'll put, because I'm learning kind of, is usually for things like that you don't use normal razors that you think of.
Oh, use safety
You use old school safety razors, and you wet shave. You don't just shave like you do with whatever random razor you found in the drawer.
Yeah.
You actually have to take your time and shave like a human being would back then.
Yep. You have
So
to. You get a bar of
just gotta
shaving soap.
You got to
and-
remember that. There's a lot of these little nuances that really bring the living history alive that you got
Exactly.
that you want to try to portray as best as you can.
Watching somebody using an M1 helmet and a mirror to shave themselves is more accurate than you think.
Yeah, the little things like that, like this mug, which was standard issue, you would usually drink tea out of this. You drink anything out of it. You'd shave out of it. You'd probably
Same thing for
cook
the,
random things out of it too if you could.
Same thing for a U.S. canteen cup. You could do anything you
Yeah.
needed to out of that.
Yeah, a lot of things were very multi-purpose.
It
Kind of
wasn't
gross.
this,
Kind of gross if you think about it, having shaving scum in there, but
It's not all this one-use stuff like we're used to today.
yeah. And,
But that is something you gotta realize, is that there's
is a-
these little things that nickel and dime you.
Yeah. That's the one thing that will happen. But
For U.S. stuff, I need dog tags at some point. I need a service ID. There's a bunch of stuff I need.
yeah,
And there's a bunch of stuff I don't need. But it's mostly it's
Yeah.
the same thing as you. It's the personal items that get you.
yeah.
Because you could spend $400 on personal items.
Because some of the stuff is hard to find, hard to get.
Exactly.
Like a watch, like a Soviet watch. I'm looking for
Yep,
one.
I got to get a U.S. watch.
Is the cheapest one I'm finding is $150 for a actual watch that they would have had. So it's little tiny things like that that kind of get you at some point, but not to push you away just from the price. But
it is an expensive hobby to get
It is
into.
expensive. Just saying.
And it doesn't matter what you do. You could do this. German stuff is probably even more expensive than our stuff.
I think German stuff is probably when it comes to, at least here in the U.S., first thing, American's probably the easiest, obviously. 'cause
Then
we
German.
are America. Then German.
And then British.
And then British. Those are probably the easiest ones to do
Yep.
here in the States.
It's once you get into like
And then once
Italy or
Yeah, you get into Italy, it's a little tough. Russia's a little tough. All the other, pretty much every other country, like France, and like, let's say Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, like places like that. And trying to think, like Japan. Japan's hard. China, like I've seen some Imperial Chinese got like Chinese nationalist
Hell,
guys.
Reading. Yeah, we saw him at Reading last year.
Those guys go hard, all right, because it is difficult to get that stuff. But it's just
one of the cool.
there's how hard you want to try.
One of the
it depends
coolest-
on what conflict too. There's
Exactly.
a bunch of different conflicts, not just
Especially
World
if
War II.
you're portraying an Asian country, there's a lot more conflict than just
Yeah.
Europe and the Pacific.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
the thing. We don't get taught very much about what happened between Japan and China during World War II.
No, you
and
don't.
beforehand. It was pretty nuts. So there's a lot of things like that you can get into. Patrick, you cut out again.
You know who else is nuts?
These nuts.
When we were at Reading last year, the Scottish reenactors.
Oh yeah, Scottish dudes. You guys are wearing a kilt, bro. That stuff's dangling.
And
I
you're-
would not want my shit dangling.
And you're just walking
In battle.
around. At one point, I look at him. I'm like, I hear bagpipes. I guess the Scottish must be marching again.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. You get to like a big reenactment like Reading or Berwick
You get
or
all
any
you
of
get
these.
all the flavors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get, and you're all next to each other. There's like, here's the Pacific, here's the European
Yeah,
theater.
there's some Polish guys there.
Oh God, there's everybody.
yeah.
Last year, the German guys made fun of me and him. I served him right up to the Germans. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
here,
yeah.
you want the Russian, not me.
Yeah. German guy. You German.
They're
right.
insane.
You German reenactors, you guys are weird. Okay.
And
You
they're
guys are
insane.
strange. I've experienced plenty of you guys. You guys are nuts. Okay.
And we love it.
Just leaving that out there. So
So I think that's about it.
we're
I
gonna
don't-
leave it
I
at
don't
that
think
because we
need to
rambled
get-
way too long. We thought this was going to be 10 minutes. It's probably 30
Yeah.
minutes by now. So that's our introduction, I guess, to
We don't
the,
mean to,
the
like we
reenacting
said,
point.
we don't mean to dissuade people because of how much this hobby can cost, but it's worth it.
And with that clank of a magazine,
From an unknown person.
unknown person, we are going to leave you at that. You all have a good day. Wait! Like, comment, subscribe.
Turn on the bell for notifications.
That's Patrick's part. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bear.
Bye. We gotta have a James Bond opening. Let's see. Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh. And welcome to the Surplus Boys channel. Fucking hell.
Fucking tornado.
Yeah,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.